Welcome back to Chow Time Pods. Your host, Red. I got a video today from Men Need to See This.
He refused to help me pay for rent when he knew I was struggling financially. Like, I'm just asking for like $1,000.
Okay, ladies, I say this all the time. A high-value man is not the same as a high-income man. And when you're dating, don't look for a rich guy. Look for a guy with a provider mindset. And my boyfriend pays my rent, not because I'm struggling financially. I was making 4 times what he was making when we first started dating. But even in the beginning,
And you still use and abuse him.
he still provided for me within his means. A real man wants to take care of his woman financially, not because she needs it, but because he wants to.
Your husband is your partner, not a bank.
Very much agreed. Yet, unfortunately, there are some women out there that hold this opinion.
May our future daughters never find men like you?
Sad, isn't it? Yet, I have a feeling in a few years, a lot of the women that think like this will actually be wondering why they're still single.
Yep.
So for all
It's not even a few years. It's happening now.
the men out there who are like, oh, women don't want to chase us anymore because they're all boss babe in their way through life and they're financially independent. Most of us are broke as fuck. Most women like myself are struggling financially in this economy. Half of my wage goes towards rent. And despite this, many women still don't want to find a man. Not because they're thriving. I'm certainly not thriving. I'm fucking flirting with financial ruin. But would rather be broke and alone than with you going 50-50, putting up with your bullshit and giving us the bare minimum. We are over it.
Again, doesn't make sense. Giving you bare minimum and still doing 50-50 took away 50% of your bills.
She stood online calling out men, saying women stop chasing because they're boss babes and financially independent, only to admit that most of them, herself included, are drowning financially. Half her income goes into rent. She can't get ahead, and yet she proudly says she doesn't want a man. That contradiction alone exposes the problem women created for themselves. The message young men need to take from this is simple. Avoid women who preach independence but still expect a man to subsidize their lifestyle. They reject partnership when it's equal, but demand complete coverage when they want security.
Right?
They refuse to go half and half, yet insist a man carry their burdens while they bring complaints and chaos.
Run! DMC!
And are finally seeing how backward that arrangement is. Women want the privileges of dependence while bragging about independence. They want the benefits of a provider without giving the respect or loyalty that used to come with it. And once men realize they're being positioned as replacements for absent fathers instead of true partners, they walk away. Women built these standards themselves, and now they can't stand the results. Men have stepped back because they're tired of being blamed for everything while being expected to fund everything. Women shout empowerment until responsibilities show up. Then suddenly equality disappears.
Responsibilities or a jar of pickles.
Good men stop bending over backwards for people who don't match their energy, contribution, or commitment. That's not male apathy. That's self-preservation. Women keep asking where the good men went. They're not missing. They're relaxing, focusing on peace, stacking their resources, and choosing freedom over being drained by someone who demands more than she's willing to offer. Women push men away with unrealistic expectations, and men are enjoying life without them.
Fellas, if you are scared to talk, I will talk on your behalf. It is sad that most men allow themselves to be used as human ATMs by women.
100%, lady. I agree. It's even as men talking to other men, sometimes they don't get it. They feel like we're just trying to talk shit on them. And it's just like, bro, have some standards for yourself.
Ladies, stop treating men like your ATM machine. Men are real spiritual beings. They are not your walking ATMs.
She finally admitted something women rarely say out loud. Too many men are treated like cash dispensers. Hearing her call it out shows how normal this behavior has become.
Correct.
Women know men are being drained.
And she's like an African lady and still is saying these things. So she's experienced this, the miserableness of women.
Financially. Yet they continue demanding money and gifts as a requirement just to interact. That attitude didn't come out of thin air. Women built it and encouraged it. Men didn't just wake up and decide to hand out cash. They were pressured, manipulated, or guilt-tripped into believing that spending constantly was the only way to be valued. Meanwhile, Women offer the bare minimum while expecting men to carry every financial burden. When a woman calls men weak for allowing it, she ignores the fact that women created the expectation in the first place.
Yep.
Modern dating became a marketplace because women turned
This became modern prostitution.
affection into transactions. They elevated material demands above character, then complained when men started pulling back. You cannot push men into a system where money replaces genuine connection and then act shocked that relationships crumble. Women designed the rules. Now they're dealing with the fallout. Men are waking up to the pattern. They're tired of giving while receiving nothing meaningful in return. They're tired of being treated like financial plans instead of partners. Women can preach about men being spiritual beings, but their actual behavior shows they see men as providers first and humans second.
Yep.
That's why men are choosing distance instead of devotion. If women want men to stop acting like
most women still treat men as second-class citizens because, again, a lot of women really think they're better than men.
ATMs, they need to stop withdrawing without depositing respect, effort, appreciation, and loyalty. Until then, men stepping back is not weakness. It's common sense. Women only say these things once they realize the gravy train is slowing down.
A lot of women today act like escorts. If a man has to pay you for your time in order to go out with you, you're an escort.
Yep.
Okay? Because us regular girls are not charging men money to take us out on a date.
Modern dating is collapsing because women turn simple interactions into transactions. A man can take a woman out, spend money, give his time, and she'll disappear the moment the date ends. No appreciation, no interest, no effort.
No reciprocation.
Just free meals and empty promises. And women wonder why men are shutting down emotionally and financially. This idea that every man should pay up front just to be acknowledged is exactly why relationships are deteriorating. Women created a system where a guy's wallet matters more than his character. They dismiss decent men because they don't provide instant financial benefits, then complain that men are detached. You can't build a connection when one side only sees value and profit. The worst part is how normal this mindset has become. Women openly brag about using men for dinners and entertainment, then get angry when...
And that's the problem of this social media world. Women are on here bragging about it, and other women watch it and enjoy it and consume all of this, and they want to do it too, because that's the lifestyle they want to do.
Men choose to keep their money and stay single. If you only show interest when you're spending, you're not dating, you're exploiting. And men are tired of being treated like funding sources instead of partners. A man shouldn't have to prove anything with money just to earn basic courtesy.
True.
If women want providers, then they need to offer something worth providing for. But instead, they offer entitlement and expect devotion. They chase luxury while bringing nothing but demands. Men refuse and play along isn't bitterness. It's self-respect. If a guy is a trick, treat him like one. But punishing regular men with the same expectations destroys any chance of genuine relationships. Women poison the dating pool with greed, and now men have walked away from the table they kept flipping.
You know what he said was right. Like, women really treat all men as tricks. They think all men are tricks, and it's not the case. There's a lot of men out there that are just not willing to spend that kind of money on women.
Approaching women you know you cannot afford. You already see the woman's lifestyle. You see how she living.
So if she's already living that lifestyle all on her own, what exactly is the issue?
Yep.
You know you can't afford it. Now when she asks you for money to upkeep the lifestyle that she's already living.
Wait.
So she can't keep her lifestyle.
Exactly what these women in these scenarios doing? Why would they be asking men for money in the first place? I thought these women were strong and independent and could do things all on their own. And obviously they've been maintaining their lifestyles beforehand. But yet they would ask men for money while they're dating. That's right.
Who's providing that lifestyle, it really seems?
They're giving the impression that some women aren't as strong and independent as they want everyone else to think that they are. It's either that or they just view men as walking ATMs. So which one is it?
You want to get an attitude. Go be with your type. She's not your type.
Right. They should be with their type, shouldn't they? The type of women that actually want a relationship and don't view men as just a means to an end.
She stood confidently and announced that men should stop approaching women they can't afford. That statement alone exposed everything. It showed a mindset built on dependency, not independence. Because if she truly had her life handled, she wouldn't be demanding that men meet a price tag before earning her attention. What she actually revealed is the entitlement many women carry today. They don't want genuine interaction. They want financial advantage. They expect men to step into their world as providers before even being seen as people. It's clear that they use standards as a shield to hide the fact that they rely heavily on men to maintain their image. Women like this present themselves as high value, while expecting men to fund their expectations. They shame ordinary men who work hard but choose not to overspend. They mock men who simply prioritize responsibility. The irony is that the same women demanding luxury can't sustain that luxury on their own. This is why voices like Lady J hit the spotlight. She confronts the selfishness head-on. She speaks on the imbalance that many men experience daily. And the moment she challenges women's behavior, she becomes a threat to those who profit from keeping men silent. Her strength stands out because she refuses to protect false narratives. It's important for men to see how open some women are about using them. Statements like hers show the real mindset many men deal with. They don't want connection, they want funding.
And this is why we cover so many videos of so many creators of so many different types of, race and creed of men. We've all experienced it, men. Just how badly we experienced it and what nuance there is, but we've experienced it.
And the moment a man doesn't meet that imaginary financial test, he's dismissed. This exposes a real problem. It's not that men can't afford women. It's that many women can't afford themselves.
This man said, why every time I meet a woman, she's behind on her bills or she needs help with a bill? If that's something that you're questioning and it's bothering you, upsetting you, that you have to bring it to the internet, you don't need to be meeting women.
What's interesting about this is sometimes people will say the dumbest things, but they don't realize how dumb it sounds because in their mind, they've processed that information and it makes sense to them.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. She just said that the guy who has money to give somebody, who doesn't want to just willingly give it away to a woman he's talking to, should not be dating because he doesn't want to give away his money. But she has no issues with the woman who's broke. Not only broke, she's behind on her bills, but it's okay for her to date.
And
you're going to try to shame the guy that has the money. A lot of y'all are dating not because of love, not because you want to, but because you need money. And that's why y'all would get in relationships with men that you don't like, and then you complain about these men later on, because you are only looking to use them.
She proudly defended a woman who is broke, behind on her bills, and still feels entitled to a man's wallet. But she attacked a man who simply chooses not to hand out his money.
The sisterhood is dumb.
To someone he barely knows. That contradiction exposes a mindset a lot of women operate with today. They protect female irresponsibility while tearing down male boundaries. Many women have convinced themselves that a man choosing to keep his earnings is somehow disqualifying. Yet their own lack of stability doesn't stop them from jumping into the dating scene. They want men to overlook their financial chaos, but they won't tolerate a man who chooses to be cautious with his money. It's a double standard built entirely in their favor.
A lot of double standards are built in women's favor. I think the only one that we have is we can sleep around and not be called a slut. That's like literally the only one I can think of.
This behavior shows how far respect has fallen. Women ridicule men for having discipline, while they contribute nothing but expectations. They push narratives that excuse their poor decisions but shame any man who refuses to become a sponsor. It's a tactic designed to control men through guilt and embarrassment.
They also shame us for our standards, for having boundaries, right?
A relationship turns into a form of emotional slavery when women treat every interaction like a payment system. It stops being about connection and becomes a financial exchange. That kind of setup never leads to anything healthy because it replaces real partnership with demand, pressure, and entitlement. Men shouldn't carry the weight of someone else's irresponsibility. The women who shame men for being careful with their resources are the same ones refusing to confront their own failures. And until women hold themselves accountable, Dating will continue to feel like a marketplace where they want benefits without bringing anything to the table.
Listen, if you have to wait until you get paid to buy me something, give me money, send me somewhere on vacation while you work, if you're going to hit me with the, babe, go ahead and pay it and I'll pay you next week when I get paid, bleh. Listen, my advice to you is to...
So you're broke, dusty, musty, crusty that can't pay for it on her own anyways. That's why.
Stay single and save your money. You cannot afford to be in no relationship, especially with a woman like me.
She boldly declared that any man who waits for payday before spending on a woman should remove himself from dating until he becomes wealthy. Yet she sees nothing wrong with expecting constant gifts, trips, and transfers from men who are working just as hard as she is. Sometimes harder. This attitude reveals how many women want luxury funded by someone else while bringing nothing but requests. A man saying, "I'll handle it next week when my salary drops," is normal. It shows responsibility. But women like her twist that into a sign of failure. They expect men to operate like unlimited cash machines, even while they themselves would never fund a man's lifestyle in return. They demand generosity, without ever matching the effort. This is why so many men are checking out emotionally. Women preach independence, yet their entire dating standard revolves around draining a man's income. They shame men for planning, budgeting, and being realistic. Meanwhile, they refuse to accept that their own financial issues don't make them any more qualified to judge someone else's pocket.
It actually makes them less qualified, but...
Relationships collapse when women act entitled to money they didn't earn. Turning love into a spending contest only pushes good men away. Women who measure a man's value strictly by how much he can sponsor are the very ones destroying the foundation of partnership. They want providers but refuse to be contributors. If a man must be rich to date, then a woman should be held to the same standard. But they never apply that rule to themselves.
Nope.
Instead, they attack...
We get plenty of broke, dusty, musty, crusty
men for not catering to their fantasies. Until women start taking responsibility for their own wants, dating will continue to feel like a one-sided transaction where men give and women demand.
Okay, so I don't care what nobody say. Like, I don't look down on nobody for what they don't have, because I understand everybody be going through hard times, but I don't want to kick it with nobody that's always broke. Like, that's just really irritating because people...
I mean, men are the same way. We hate dealing with people that are always broke. That's why we stayed away from women.
People who be broke, like, they don't understand that they in survival mode, and they don't even notice when they be trying to use people. Like, no, I don't want nobody coming around me. You always trying to smoke up my smoke. You always trying to drink up my drink. Like, no, like, I don't want to be bothered with that. Absolutely not. And then, like, you ain't never got no gas money, like, nothing to contribute to the kick it. Absolutely not.
She claims she respects everyone's situation, that she never judges people who are facing financial struggles. But in the same breath, she made it clear she refuses to be around any man who isn't financially loaded. That alone exposes a contradiction. She pretends to show compassion while openly rejecting the very people she claims to understand. This attitude shows how many women want moral credit for being kind, yet their actions...
Yeah, that social justice warrior thing. Women love to look good in front of people.
...reveal the opposite.
Even though
they preach
evil.
Empathy publicly, then privately dismiss men who are simply trying to stabilize their lives. A man having a rough moment suddenly becomes irritating just because he can't sponsor entertainment. Men see this double standard every day. Women want to be accepted whether they're struggling or doing well,
Accept me
but
as
they
I
refuse to
am.
extend that same grace to men. A man must have everything figured out instantly, or he's labeled a burden. Meanwhile, women are allowed to rebuild, rest, and be supported without judgment. This is why men pull back. They are tired of being treated as wallets instead of partners. Women like her turn human connection into a financial exam. Instead of valuing character, they disqualify a man based on his account balance, even though many of them are not doing any better. If financial stability matters, then it should apply to both sides, not only the man. Women cannot claim to be understanding while discarding men for the same struggles they excuse in themselves. Until accountability is shared, dating will remain unfair and one-sided, with men expected to carry everything while women contribute nothing but criticism. Thanks for tuning in.
Shout outs to Men Need to See This. You know, more men making videos like this. And his channel's brand new still. He only has like 8K subs. Get this man some subs. Let's get him to like a 10K. Give him some likes. Hopefully he can make a decent living off of this so he can keep making videos for us. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. I really appreciate that. And I'll catch you guys next time. Ciao.